our departure from Trinidad.
We don't want Trinidad judicial system. We don't want that. We don't want to share no immigration. We don't want no air traffic control with Trinidad. We must have our own prime minister in Tobago. If it wasn't clear to you, let me tell you this. What I'm asking for is secession. What I'm asking for is secession. We need to move away from Trinidad.
Constitution dissolves. There's no longer Trinidad and Tobago. There's Trinidad by itself, Tobago by itself.
Yes, yes.
That was a paid political advertisement.
Whoa! It's the Quartz Black Friday sale. With the best-selling brands, best deals, and best offers all month long. You don't want to miss your chance to save on wow deals. Save on smart TVs, major appliances, furniture, bedroom and dining, with lots more to choose from. Shop today with Quartz Ready Finance and pay nothing for 90 days. Don't miss this Black Friday sales event. Only at Quartz, bringing value home.
The following is a paid political advertisement.
That was it last year that you wanted to resign from the PDP?
Last year, I offered the executive of this party my resignation.
You're on record as saying that you wanted to call it a day. That was it last year that you wanted to resign from the PDP?
I spoke about this several times. That at one, I did not hand in a resignation. I told him that, I was considering it.
Last year, I offered the executive of this party my resignation.
Because that is in the public domain.
Oh, sure. And it's not the first time I spoke about.
You hear live? I offered the executive of this party my resignation.
That was it last year that you wanted to resign from the PDP?
That at one, I did not hand in a resignation.
Fali Augustine is a liar. He's a puppet of Watson Duke.
That was a paid political advertisement.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
The following is a paid political advertisement.
Think about the poor health care and jam the X in. Think about the poor educational system your children have to face with. Jam the X. When you think every time you can't go down in a pothole, jam the X. Every time you think that you are poor and you're needy and the food card flying elsewhere because you are perceived to be of a certain other color, certain other political loyalty, jam it. Put it right up inside.
PDP for the win now.
That was a paid political advertisement.
You can now get whatever.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Good morning again and welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Viewers, chatting with us this morning is Dr. Vanush James, economist and political analyst and author. Our focus this morning is an outlook at the THA elections 2021 and recovering our economy post-COVID. Good morning and welcome to you, Dr. James.
With you.
Thank you.
Morning, Tobago.
Good to have you with us. Good to have you with us. Dr. James, let's start off by taking a look at what's been happening on the ground. Election fever, a second election in less than a year for the Tobago House of Assembly. What are your thoughts on the ground?
Well, what I hear from people,
Share with us.
from business people and so on, is generally the mood is for change. That's what I hear. There is some reflection on the fact that what people hear is a lot of advertising by the PNM. That strikes people. There's $1 billion of ads and so on. But most people tell me this doesn't fool me. Okay. I am aware of the reality of our experience in the last year and in the last 21 years. And most people say it's time for a change. That's what I hear. Okay. I have not met any people, serious people yet, who would say the PNM has done its job, time to give them more time. Nobody has said that to me yet.
All you've been hearing so far is
Time for a change, especially from young people.
All right. Now we're hearing from the election campaigns, you know, a lot of promises being made from all sides. Let's take a look at post-COVID, Tobago's economy post-COVID, or trying to get out. I mean, we're still within the pandemic, but how do you foresee these promises being fulfilled? I mean, like I said, promises, whichever party wins. Can they really afford to
keep the promises,
that they've been making?
Well, depending on what you're promising. I think the framework that we have was set by 2019, before COVID.
Right.
We had an economy that had been created by 21 years of PNM spending of the funds that we won at the Dispute Resolution Commission.
Right.
That was about $40 billion. And we heard from the Prime Minister a couple of days ago in Mason Hall that Tobago is still very dependent on Trinidad.
Right.
And the fundamental reason for that, I can tell you as an economist, is that the $40 billion was taken and spent to grow the THA rather than to grow the private sector. So we have an economy now which is about 32% private and 68% government. And that's the kind of economy that doesn't work well. People will find that it will take a long time for them to move from one place to the other. Nurses complaining they can't get increments and so on. All of that is because of the long-standing problem of low productivity, stagnant economy that we're running here. And when we get past COVID, and COVID is not a short-term thing, you know. Right. COVID is a long-term thing. So we can't even talk about this as getting past COVID. But when we learn to live with COVID,
right,
what we're going to find is that these fundamental problems remain. And I think that if I look at the track record of the PNM, I do not see any evidence to believe that they understand how to fix the kind of problem they've created with the $40 billion we've given to them. I think indeed it is true from an independent perspective that you really have to remove the PNM from office and put people in power who want to change the way we govern the place in two senses, Ria. First of all the small development problems could be tackled within the communities. Right. So every village should have access to resources to sort out its own small scale box drain type development issues, help children with homework and so on. You could handle that through a community development program coordinated by the Division of Community Development, but implemented in the communities as they see the problems they face. I think that's one leg on which this has to stand.
Okay.
And then you have to have big projects in Tobago to frame the economy differently. Big projects in education, big projects in healthcare, big projects in the creative industry segment, entertainment, music, and so on. And big projects in housing to support a redirection of tourism. And I think if you understand the recovery of the economy that way, you also understand how to develop a private sector in Tobago. That I think is the way the citizen must understand this issue.
Okay, now, and I hear you talking about recovery. I hear you talking about making that change. Is it too late at this stage of the game to make these changes?
No, it's not. Well, where we are as a society and where we are as an economy in Tobago, we have to go down that road. There is no chance.
And what would it call for if we have to make these changes? What would it call for from the citizenry?
Well, there are two things. You have to do investment. So you have to be talking fundamentally about $2.5 billion of investment financing every year, of which about 500 million of that had to be spent in the communities along the lines I was just describing. you're not going to develop Tobago unless young people get properly educated.
Okay.
So you have to clean up the way we educate our citizens. We have to clean up the way we do preschool education, primary education, and bring skills into the discussion. It can't just be reading and writing.
Right.
If you want to do music, you have to have a senior, highly skilled center of music training,
Right.
music schooling, proper schooling, expert teachers and so on. You have to clean up education all the way to the tertiary education system so you could get foreigners to come here and go to school. That sort of stuff you have to do. You have to do the same thing for healthcare. You have to do the same thing for music and so on.
Right.
And if you, as Tobago, understand what you're doing that way, the citizen is the center. This is what you mean by people-centered development. So you have to set up the government in a way that allows every citizen to be able to come and say, look, this is what I'm trying to do. This is the kind of help I need. These are the kinds of policies you have to put in place. So you have to have inclusive government.
Right.
The citizen has to be at the center. The same is true for financing. You have to bring inclusive financing. You can't have a situation in which you're trying to do, say, a new approach to telecommunications in Tobago, develop a new TV station like I see you young people doing here. You need to be able to get access to the kind of credit required in order to invest properly in what you're doing, to give it a chance. So we need to do inclusive financing so the citizen entrepreneur would be able to find the resources required in order to invest in the Tobago economy. And on top of all of that, we have to clean up the way parents get involved in the education of their children and so on. So there's a whole spectrum of answers to the question how the citizen participates in a development process. And we could go on and on and on with that.
All right, I want to ask you very quickly here about the lifting of the SOE and the impact that it could have, we wanted to have on the economy.
Well, what the SOE represents really is a protection mechanism that the government thought it was necessary to put in place so that you could prevent COVID from spreading.
Right.
When COVID spreads, even without government locking down, when COVID spreads, citizens pull back from commerce.
Right.
They don't go to the stores, they don't want to take a chance, come to the mall, and so on and so on. So lifting the SOE is a way to allow citizens to persuade citizens that it's okay now to move around and rebuild effective demand, as we call it in my profession. You go to shop, effectively. And once you lift the SOE, what will happen is businesses will find that their cash flows will recover. Because what the SOE did and what COVID has done is to destroy cash flows for businesses. So most businesses have no income coming in,
right,
and therefore they can't meet expenses, even though the expenses don't disappear. So what lifting the SOE would do is simply allow cash inflows to come back to businesses and allow the businesses to recover. And I think that's a reasonable measure by the government, right, to allow for that to happen. I have a lot of business clients consulting with me, and pretty much all of them are happy to see the end of the SOE, to say nothing of the end of COVID, so that business can get back to normal. It will allow the economy to recover. We've been about a 7-8% decline as a country, and once you open up back the system, we'll find our way back to normal within about 2 years or so.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Dr. James. We're going to take a quick break here. Coming up, viewers, Julian is going to be joining Dr. James on set as we continue taking a look at the outlook of the THA elections 2021 and the recovery of our economy post-COVID. So stay tuned. Share the live, share the live, share the live.
The following is a paid political advertisement.
Duke said he's willing to put up a fight to liberate Tobagonians and take the island to independence.
As the political leader of the PDP, we come down to negotiate our departure from Trinidad.
We don't want Trinidad judicial system. We don't want that. We don't want to share no immigration. We don't want no air traffic control with Trinidad. We must have our own prime minister in Tobago. If it wasn't clear to you, let me tell you this. What I'm asking for is secession. What I'm asking for is secession. We need to move away from Trinidad.
Constitution dissolves. There's no longer Trinidad and Tobago. There's Trinidad by itself, Tobago by itself.
Yes, yes.
That was a paid political advertisement.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning,
Good morning, viewers. It's 7:23 a.m. and this is the Tobago Updates morning show. I am Julian Skeet, and in this segment, we continue the conversation with Mr. Vanus James, Dr. Vanus James, economist and political analyst.
Yeah.
Dr. James, we are 1 week away from the Tobago House of Assembly elections.
Yeah.
And what we see is naturally a clear kind of intensifying on the campaign trail.
Right.
In your opinion, what should be the main focal point that you see as critical in terms of moving this island forward?
I think these elections are an opportunity for the people of Tobago to ask the incumbents a straight question. The election should be a referendum on the performance of the PNM. In 2000, we gave the PNM essentially, when you look over the 21 years of unbroken rule, $40 billion and 21 unbroken years, and asked them to do a particular job. Take Tobago out of this eternal 137-year dependence on Trinidad. That's why we went to court to win those funds. And I was the one who encouraged Hochoy to go to court after the government gave us $66 million to spend on Tobago's development. We handed the PNM $40 billion. Last Friday night, the Prime Minister came here and lamented that Tobago is still heavily dependent on Trinidad. And for that reason, he says we must vote the PNM. Well, we must ask the Prime Minister and the PNM, why after 40 billion and 21 years of unbroken rule, we're still so dependent on Trinidad? That is the fundamental question Tobagonians must answer. It's a 137-year-old question. And if there is no proper answer to that question, if it isn't that the money wasn't enough, or we didn't have enough power to make our own decisions, whatever the reason, if you, the people of Tobago, are not satisfied that you're getting a proper answer to this question, then you need to remove the PNM from office. And it would be very surprising to me if the people of Tobago know that the PNM has failed to fix this problem and still come in and say, well, okay, give me another 4 years, if the people of Tobago would say yes to that. That would be extremely surprising to me, and I think it's highly unlikely, quite frankly. The PNM also, the people of Tobago also need to look at the alternative properly. Look at the PDP carefully and ask, what really are they promising? Is this about Watson Duke or Farley, or is it a change in the way we govern Tobago? Now, what I hear from them is that they want to make two kinds of changes, fundamental changes. First, you have to get the population of Tobago more actively involved in governing ourselves. For the 21 years of the PNM rule, what we have had, and forever, throughout our history, we've had authoritarian government. The Executive Council makes decisions and does what it likes without oversight here in Tobago. And we need to change that. We need to have the representatives of the people of Tobago oversee the work of the Executive Council. All of this complaining about the Auditor General's report and zipline and money disappear and corruption and so, all of that is because the Executive Council is able to do things without the people of Tobago overseeing and monitoring and holding them to account. So you need to change that.
So the question would be, you know, when we tie that into our greater efforts or efforts for self-governance and greater autonomy in the Tobago space, what kind of fundamental changes do we need to therefore demand at that level? And I'm past the point where we are asking, but we are at a point where whosoever takes up the responsibility, come the decision that is made the 6th of December, it's a position of demanding. What's one of the main things that we ought to demand to help move us in that direction?
Well, right after the election, step one, you have to put the oversight arrangements in place. The people of Tobago must require that there be arrangements for them to participate in an inclusive way in the governance process. So if you or I or anybody else have something to say to the government, there must be a systematic way for us to be able to communicate that information so good policies are made. Secondly, as I was pointing out to your previous host, the nature of the problem in Tobago is so complex that you need to separate the work into two parts. And the people of Tobago must demand that in our villages, there are simple problems: garbage collection, education of the children, meaning extra lessons and all these kinds of things. Helping parents become more competent to participate in the education of their children. So all those things could be handled at the village community development level. So you need to reform the division of community development so citizens could participate more actively in the development of their communities. And in that context, there is a process called participatory budgeting, in which we get a 10 or $20 million for every village, and the village decides on what to do with that money.
So
and
you are
bring
rooting
government.
for that level of development,
Yes,
the community.
because it is not possible to develop a place like Tobago unless you get every citizen involved. And then, on the other side, the THA as a unit must take responsibility for the big projects, the education development programs, the healthcare development programs, to develop our exports, tourism development, and so on. You must have a community-based development program, but there must be big projects that the THA itself must undertake rather than leave to the community level. And if the people of Tobago demand those kinds of changes, that will lay a basis on which they could then go to the central government and say, we want our autonomy, we want proper boundaries on which proper budgeting allocations could be made for Tobago, and we want more than ever the opportunity to make laws to drive our own development and drive Tobago's contribution to the national economy so we are no longer dependent on Trinidad.
Is there a way, from the standpoint of in your capacity as an economist, where we should better highlight the figures in terms of contributions at the national level? So while it may not match up perhaps with what we receive in terms of to run the operations of the island, should we get to the point where the national community does not only see the allocation that comes to Tobago, but rather the national community, just as we hear in the context of the budget, is also able to say, all right, this amount and that amount comes in from the Tobago space?
There is a way. First of all, of course, as I demonstrated in 2011 in a study of the Tobago economy that I published and had the whole government come to the presentation of and so on, there is a way, starting with the boundaries. You've got to define Tobago's natural boundaries as the median line between Tobago and Trinidad. And then on that basis, you will find that, as Prime Minister Dr. Rowley pointed out in Mason Hall, poinsettia out in the west of Tobago would then be seen to be partly in Tobago. So Tobago's contribution to the national economy could be properly counted. All the exploration is counted in the GDP of the country, going on north of Tobago for gas fields and oil fields and so on. Right now, it's not counted as part of the Tobago economy, but if you define the boundaries properly, all of that would be officially in Tobago, and therefore all of that would be properly counted. And when you account the nation, and you include exploration and the work done by BHP Billiton out in TTDA 14 and those areas out there where north or east of Charlottesville, and so when you count all of that, you will find that the contribution of Tobago to the national economy is not just what's on our little rock. That's the first thing. Once you understand that, however, you will begin to see Tobago in a very different light. If you look at St. Kitts, which is smaller than Tobago, it produces $18,000 per person every year. Trinidad and Tobago with oil and gas produces 16,000. Tobago contributes 3,500 of that. But all of that is because the programming for development that we could do in Tobago, we're not doing. So if you pushed Tobago to do the right kind of programming, and the country is monitoring the gains from that, what you would find is that over the next 20 years, Tobago would increase its contribution per person to a level that is higher than Trinidad. If you just quickly to tell you, if you look at the...
We're running out of time,
yes,
Dr. Vanus James, but I like the direction that you're going,
yes,
because I think ultimately that is what would help us to move in a direction. So we not only speak about what comes to Tobago, but we also speak about the contribution that is being made.
Exactly.
Folks, you've heard it there from Dr. Vanus James, economist, and trust me, if I know this gentleman any at all, you're going to hear more of him going to the elections and in fact past the election period, speaking about the development of our island and giving that perspective to move Tobago in that growth direction that we are all looking forward to. This is the Tobago Updates morning show. We'll be right back, folks, and we remind you to share the live, share the live, share the live.
The following is a paid political advertisement.
I place in the center of this meeting tonight the proposed Scarborough Waterfront Development Project, and you can see it on the screen. We have already put aside $60 million for the start of this project. Already, we have secured over $37 million through the IADB investment. And so we have been developing the plans and we have been finalizing the rollout of this plan that will see for the first time a new and improved Scarborough. What does it include? It includes a new boardwalk. It includes a parkade, an upgrade of the Scarborough Esplanade. There is going to be a marketplace. There is going to be a food court. And when I talk about food court, I'm talking about restaurants, I'm talking about bars, I'm talking about cafes, and I'm talking about entertainment spaces. The new Scarborough will be digital. Remember, we are talking about technology and taking Tobago to a new height. And so we will have information booths, and those booths will talk about the history and cultural norms and ways of life of our people. And so the project will be solar powered. Drainage and infrastructural work will be in place. And most importantly, there is a start date, which is January 2022, immediately after the Christmas season has ended. And with that project, we will be able to create more jobs, over 200 jobs. With that project, we will be able to encourage entrepreneurship, because we are talking about restaurants, we are talking about bars. With that project, we can go to them on the international market to say that we are moving Tobago in the right direction. And with the airports completed, with the hotels coming in, we are expecting to see more tourists come into the island as well. And with more tourists, there will be more flights. So the flights that I talk about from the Scandinavian countries and from North America, they will come because Tobago's product is being developed, and this is what our people would want to see. And so this 18-month first phase project will see a Scarborough like we have never seen it before.
Take no chance. Protect your future. On December 6th, vote PNM. Great is the PNM.
That was a paid political advertisement. The following is a paid political advertisement.
Think about the poor health care and jam the X in. Think about the poor educational system your children have to face with. Jam the X. When you think every time you can't go down in a pothole, jam the X. Every time you think that you are poor and you're needy and the food card flying elsewhere because you are perceived to be of a certain other color, certain other political loyalty, jam it. Put it right up inside.
PDP for the win now.
That was a paid political advertisement.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning.
Viewers, welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show. It's all about food today. And you know, when we talk about food, I'm down with that. So, we are here at the Brown Cow restaurant, and we are going to be checking out the folks to see what's happening in the kitchen. It's all about food today. So we're going to be chatting with the managing director and executive chef, Zenon Thomas. Come on, let's go. Chef Zenon Thomas, formerly known as Chef Z. How have you been?
Thank you very much. Nice. I'm going very good. Thanks. Nice to have you.
Thank you. Now, we're talking Brown Cow restaurant. I'm really happy to be here. But when did Brown Cow start and how?
Well, just about 3 years. Actually, at the end of this month, November 30th, we'll be celebrating 3 years. The restaurant has been, yes, that we've been here. The restaurant started off, believe it or not, from an actual cow, a brown cow. You know, it was.
That's the name.
Yes.
I'd love to hear this Brown Cow story.
I used to be the executive chef at Crown Point Beach Hotel, and just across the road there was a cow, a baby brown cow and a pit bull. They used to be together every day, so it was quite interesting to see these two animals together. And you know, I said to myself, you know, one day I'm gonna have a restaurant, I'm gonna call it Brown Cow. So literally, that's where the name came from.
Brown cow.
Yeah, from an actual brown cow, not the drink.
But I'm sure you have that. You get that question a lot.
Yes, I do actually. Yes.
So tell us about your menu, because I mean, you said Brown Cow, and I'm thinking food already. So
yes.
Tell us about the menu.
Brown Cow, we are a fine dining restaurant. We use a lot of local. It's a fusion restaurant, I would say. I would put it as. We incorporate a lot of local produce. We support a lot of farmers locally, and we try to, you know, tie things up with some of the international concepts and ideas, so both foreigners and locals alike could appreciate, you know, what we're doing here.
And how long have you been a chef? You seem pretty young.
Yes, actually.
And I'm hoping that the look is not fooling me.
It might fool you if I tell you. If I really do tell you, you might like, what I know your eyebrows will go out. So. About 20 plus years, 20 plus years I've been in the industry. I started off my career doing fine dining, Japanese. I opened the first Japanese fine dining restaurant in Trinidad and Tobago. So I'm very fortunate to, you know, to start my career at this level. You know, I really do love it. You know, and as I said, you know, one day I said, you know, I want to have my own restaurant, and here it is now. So I'm trying to make be the difference, you know, in Tobago. In fact, I saw the need for something like this, and I give it my all. I have a lot of family. My family is supporting me, and you know, the team. It's not just me. It's not just me. You know, it's a whole, you know, family and the team that I have in the kitchen and in the dining room, you know, we put a lot of energy into the food, a lot of passion that we put into everything that we do. We really do love serving guests. I do love it. It's something in my heart I've always loved, you know, from the beginning. And I try to pass that, you know, that energy off to my team and to the guests as well too. I know some of us, you know, may not be too accustomed to good service. We're more accustomed to bad service, so we kind of gotten accustomed to that. I'm trying to change that around a little bit to be that difference, be that change. So see, that's where in the restaurant, that's where I started off, you know, my career some 20 years ago.
Alright, well, take us into the kitchen because we're talking food today.
Very good.
In fact,
Please.
before we get to the kitchen, what are we talking? What type of food are we talking?
Well, I mentioned earlier that we are a fusion restaurant. So one of the things that, you know, made Brown Cow quite popular was our maki sushi rolls. So we've become very popular from this. We started off doing this 1 day a week and now we're doing it every day. So sushi, well, it's commonly known, everybody calls it sushi. It's not really sushi that we do here. We do makimono, which are hand rolls. So I want to prepare I have something specially, well, not entirely prepared. I want you to see what I'm doing.
Well, I'm game, chef. See,
Right, and of course you get to sample it afterwards.
Yeah, that's why we're here. That's why we're here.
Right, so and I also do have something from our dinner menu. I would like you to also taste as well.
Let's go. Lead
So
the way,
please
chef.
follow me.
So we are in the kitchen at this time, Chef Z, and oh wow, I don't know what we're looking at, but it looks good. So tell us what we're doing at this time.
Okay, so I'm gonna prepare 3 of our maki sushi rolls from our sushi menu.
Right.
One gunkan maki, one agegio, and one Tobago roll.
One Tobago.
Yes, Tobago roll.
Tobago roll.
Yes. Why that one? I chose that one. I love conchs, and conchs is something, you know, I wanted to feature. I wanted to share with you today. So it's a mixture of, you know, some things from Tobago, but in a Japanese form.
Okay.
Sushi rolls.
So let's go.
Okay, very good.
Backtrack a little bit here. What is the material that the rice is on?
Okay, so this is nori, seaweed actually. Right? That's what it is actually, seaweed.
And that's what the roll is.
Yes. Next ingredient is going to be a little bit of wasabi, which is Japanese horseradish. It is very pungent. Not everybody likes the initial taste of it. I would say it's an acquired taste. Very pungent. Right?
Okay, so
inside the roll, yes, inside the roll you don't taste it so much, but it does add a nice little kick to the dish. So I told you earlier on that one of the other ingredients is conchs. Right, so you know,
as in
lambi, correct. So we traditionally have conchs, either curry or curry stew or something like that. So we make our own teriyaki sauce in house. A fantastic recipe I have, and I said, why not teriyaki conchs? Okay. So we're going with some conchs inside of our Tobago roll.
That's right.
Right.
So we have conchs, and what is the other ingredient?
So another favorite in Tobago, red mango preserve.
Wow.
You know, we get that.
No.
It is divine inside this roll. The sweet of this, the salt in the conchs. You know, it's lovely. Right. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on top of there as well.
This is an interesting combination.
Right, and then all the rolls, they have a little bit of fresh cucumber inside of there as well. Just going to take a little bit, put that inside there.
And it's shredded.
Yes. Gives a nice little crunch as well, additional crunch.
Almost looks like a complete meal.
It is actually.
I'm seeing
It is.
starch, your
Nice.
vegetables, your protein.
Alright, so now we're going to wrap this up. So again, we just wet our hands just a little bit here. Hold it down. Careful that knife. There. Just going to take a little bit of rice from on the inside and use that as a glue. Right there.
Wow. To stick it.
Yeah. So I hope maybe
Using its own natural filling.
yes, as the adhesive.
Right.
And then we just give it a little tuck in. And there we go.
Super, super, super. Now, I mean, has anyone ever eaten this entire thing as is?
Yes, all the
You
time
can.
actually, of course, of course. But we don't serve it like this. We would cut it up to make it you know, bite size.
That's right.
The sushi roll actually is a mouthful, which some people have a problem with, you know, putting the whole thing inside of your mouth. Well, allow me to cut it first. Sorry. Right, so again too, we wet the knife a little bit.
It's important. I realize
Right.
water is very important in this meal prep. You know, this almost looks like seafood. But I guess this is just
Well,
how it's
seafood.
prepared.
Well,
You
the
can use
nori.
anything as a filling.
Correct, exactly. You can be as creative as you would like and put anything inside of rolls. You know, I often do that for myself. You know, I have, you know, a little extra, anything, whatever. Anything, it could be anything you would like. Some people, you can have this just like this. It should. You should have it like that. The flavor, everything, it's moist. The moisture inside of it, everything it's complete. But you can have with a little bit of soy as well. Try some low sodium soy. And we have also pickled ginger and wasabi. Becky, you get the...
Okay.
Alright,
So this viewers is synonymous with the Brown Cow restaurant. I don't think you'll get it anywhere else.
No.
So if you want to try this, you've got to come down to the Brown Cow restaurant located at Crown Point. So what are we doing now?
Alright, so this is another item from our dinner menu. This is the teriyaki duck I'm going to be preparing for you. You were asking earlier on about if this is prepared, if it's cooked.
Is this pre-cooked?
No, it's not. The duck is raw. I mean, we do debone it to an extent. We do some mise en place, which is preparation in advance. Before, you know, you come in and you're seated, you know, we can't do everything at that point. There's a certain amount of preparation that must be done beforehand. So
everything that is presented to your customers is fresh.
Absolutely fresh. Absolutely fresh. So we make everything basically on the spot. You come, you put in an order, and we do it at that point in time.
Okay.
Right, so let's go. So this is a nice hot frying pan here.
Homemade Brown Cow restaurant homemade teriyaki sauce on the stove. And I'm going to take my seat in the dining room and I'm waiting to take.
This is the duck. So we invite you to come on down to the Brown Cow restaurant. Viewers, remember this, the anniversary celebration is tomorrow, and they're inviting you, come on down. They are a safe zone, and they are catering to your every need. We're talking service. Brown Cow restaurant, the place to be. Delicious food, great service. So, as we go, I continue to have the duck, and we continue to invite you to stay tuned to the Tobago Updates morning show. We'll be back.
The following is a paid political advertisement.
Think about the poor health care and jam the X in. Think about the poor educational system your children have to face with. Jam the X. When you think every time you can't go down in a pothole, jam the X. Every time you think that you are poor and you're needy and the food card flying elsewhere because you are perceived to be of a certain other color, certain other political loyalty, jam it. Put it right up inside.
BDP for the win now.
That was a paid political advertisement.
Whoa! It's the Quartz Black Friday sale. With the best-selling brands, best deals, and best offers all month long. You don't want to miss your chance to save on wow deals. Save on smart TVs, major appliances, furniture, bedroom and dining, with lots more to choose from. Shop today with Quartz Ready Finance and pay nothing for 90 days. Don't miss this Black Friday sales event. Only at Quartz, bringing value home.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. In this segment, we are chatting with Rody the Entertainer, and I know many persons are looking forward to this segment here this morning. Ria,
I am.
Is he online as yet with us this morning, Rody?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Are you hearing us on that end?
Good morning, Tobago. Yes, I am hearing you loud and clear.
Yeah, we hear him.
Good morning, and happy to have you here with us this morning. So we're getting right into the mix, and I want you very quickly, what gave you that inspiration to move into this realm of comedy? And we saw things literally move from 0 to 100 in no time for you as an entertainer. Blessings indeed. Tell us a little bit, or tell us in summary rather, that introduction to the comedy world.
Well, morning going on to everybody in Tobago. It was a journey because I am a videographer, and I'm really into production. So over the course of the 6 years that I've been doing the Rody brand, I would have had some interaction with people within the entertainment industry, and I would have also had some training back in school, you know, when I used to be a class clown and these kind of things. So I always had that zeal to make people laugh. So I decided to you know, fuse the both of them, me loving production and me just being naturally, I guess, funny. So I decided to try the both of them, and yeah, that's how the Rody brand came about. Me just using that God-given talent and trusting the process as well.
Okay, now, Rody, congratulations to you. You said that you started off, you know, as a class clown. I guess there's hope for some of us out there, you know.
There's hope for all of us.
Some of us. Tell us what the experience has been like for you thus far, being out there, being in LA.
It's definitely a blessing. It's definitely a blessing. I'm being exposed to a lot of new stuff, and I'm taking my time and soaking in every moment of it. It is definitely really is a pleasure being among people who actually share the same you know, love for production and comedy and bringing forth content that families could be entertained with, you know, because these kind of productions is for all ages, You know, you could pull out popcorn and sit down with granny, tanty, whoever, the dog, and take in these sort of content that we creating. So it is definitely really exciting.
Rody, who would you say are some of the persons that you've been really excited about being able to meet and engage with out there in California?
Well, definitely one person for sure is Bentley Kai Evans, who is actually the executive producer of the production that we're currently working on. He was also the executive producer for the Martin Lawrence show and the Jamie Foxx show. So I was really excited to meet him in person, and also the entire team. You know, because it's not just one person or one element that makes the show. Is a coming together of an entire team. So I met a lot of new people. I met a lot of Jamaicans as well, because we have a lot of Jamaicans on the set. So everybody on our whole just have a different kind of spirit, and we definitely had a chemistry that was working. You know, so I'm looking forward to seeing the first 4 episodes of the show. And I'm sure that I'll be back in LA to do more projects and to continue on this particular sitcom.
Now, House Out of Order is the name of the sitcom, and you play. Is it Xavier King or is it Xavier?
Xavier.
Xavier. Yeah. In Trinidad and Tobago, we say Xavier. You know, abroad they say Xavier. So you are Xavier King, James's younger, goofy brother. Now, what experience in life in Trinidad and Tobago would you say has shaped you for this character of playing Xavier King?
Well, they actually, I don't want to give away too much, but that was the original plot of my character, but they actually changed it. So I'm the best friend of the main character of the show now. And to answer your question, I am playing that Xavier role. I am playing a Trinbagonian character. So I'm not playing, and I'm not playing, and I'm out in the US, yes. With well, you know, we say America is the dream place to go and make money and chase your dreams or whatever the case is. So it's a Caribbean family, yes. There are some American elements in it, but I am playing a Trinbagonian role. So to answer your question, girl, from since I'm born, like I was born to play this part, because
you made for this.
I'm made for this character, you know, because he's a funny guy, and he's also bringing forth Caribbean culture. So, and I am the essence of a Caribbean man, you know.
That's right.
So, Rody, in addition to this current LA experience, what can we look forward to as you continue to proudly represent us? What's in store? Things to come?
Well, this project, definitely I want people to really support it, and I don't even think I have to say that, because I've been getting support from since day one when I started the brand, especially from Tobago as well. I'll never forget one of my first gigs that I ever got hired for, and they're like, "Hey, are they actually paying me to come there, boy?" Was Tobago, you know. So I must say shouts to everyone in Tobago for always continue supporting. So you can look forward to House Out of Order. The Rody brand definitely has a lot of different projects that we're working on. You know, we in talks right now to start back the Rody show. I have a lot of YouTube content that I'm working on putting out eventually. So we have a lot in store. You know, I don't want to give away all the details. I want to make sure that they know about House Out of Order right now.
Okay.
You know, that is going to be premiering in January.
Okay. You also have a music single out, Distance. I was listening to it this morning. But before we get to Distance, I need to hear that signature Rody line. That signature Rody line that accompanies almost all of your videos, or the earlier set of your videos. Right. How he says this? Wait, doing.
What do you need? What do you need?
Nobody can say it like you. One more time.
What do you need? You know how long I'd say that? You know how long I say
Yeah,
that?
I think we've definitely missed that line from the more current videos. But tell us about
That's when I have to
Distance.
bring it back. Yes.
Tell us
So
a little bit about this music single.
so this stands well. I've been working on music even before I started the Rudy brand. So I have a undercover love for it. And I've been doing music, as I say, Tobago. After I did my performance in Tobago, Tobago was the first crowd that requested me singing my first song, which was Pigtail. You understand? When they asked me to sing Pigtail, I was like, Paul, you know that song? Like, yeah, boy, we know about Pigtail, sing Pigtail. So I've been doing music. I've been doing music a while now. But this particular project, I worked on it with a producer by the name of Smitty Smith, right here in Trinidad, and we also worked on it with a guy out in Africa. He was one of the co-writers on the project. The project was something that was special to me because we really wanted to highlight the feeling and the atmosphere of the world right now because of the pandemic and not being able to see your family members and travel and be around friends online and these kind of things. So it was really something that was close to home for me, and we wanted to express it in such a way where it could connect to everybody. So Distance, as the name is, was really to just highlight the people that may have passed on during this time, and just show that love and that affection of you're probably missing somebody, but life goes on, and we just need to bask in the memories of our loved ones and live in love. So that's what the project was about.
All right, so Rudy, as we look to wrap this morning's interview, we really want to thank you. Any quick
Thank you,
words
man.
of encouragement for young persons in your industry?
Yeah, man, for sure. So to anyone out there doing social media or following your dreams, or even if you're a young entrepreneur, I encourage you to stay consistent. Consistency in this time is king. People are easily distracted, so you must put out your content, put out your products, put out your services all the time. Be on the ball, love what you're doing, and always trust the process. You're gonna meet hurdles in life, but always trust the process and trust that God has something in store for you. Not everybody will see your vision. You have to bring your vision to life and let people see it. So yeah, and remember, confidence is everything. Hello.
And you're hearing it there. Rudy had to add in the Tobago Update morning show in that voice, confidence is everything here.
Oh God, Tobago Update show, I love it. Hello.
Blessings. Thank you very much,
you.
dear viewers. We have heard it from Rudy, the entertainer, and coming from the Tobago Updates family, we definitely want to continue to wish you the very best, because we know he's going to continue to represent with excellence Trinidad and Tobago. And I like the fact that he speaks about his Tobago love. Folks, in the next segment, we are moving into This Day in History with Devon Adana. Devon Adana, how are you doing this morning?
I am well this morning. Hope you two are well. That was a lovely interview.
All right, so just double check your audio for me there.
Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, we're getting you now. How are you doing this morning?
I'm well. That was a great interview, man.
Yes, I know he has that kind of energy, and you hear his Tobago love in the end there.
I love that part. I love that part. All
How
right.
you doing? Sorry, how you doing this morning, Devon?
I'm good. I'm really good. Feeling good.
Yeah, we see the sun shining on your face.
Well, I brought it out just in time. Let's get into it. This day in Tobago history. Did you know that on this day, November 28, 2019, the motion to discuss Tobago's socio-economic development was in full swing? According to the Tobago House of Assembly YouTube channel, 2 years ago today, at the 31st plenary session of the Tobago House of Assembly, a motion was moved for the House to support plans by the Executive Council to advance Tobago's socio-economic development. This was to include discussions about advancing the island's sustainable mandate and managing the budgetary resources of the island for fiscal year 2020 in light of the national budgetary allocation to Tobago. The Executive Council has control of the administration of Tobago with individual and collective responsibility for carrying out the tasks of the Assembly through its divisions. Secretary for the Division of Finance, Mr. Joel Jack, kicked off the debate with a bleak global economic outlook. Against this backdrop, he discussed programs to combat this global depression on the Tobago front via aggressive construction-related programs to generate increased economic activity on the island. At the plenary session in question, despite impassioned presentations by the minority leader of the Tobago House of Assembly, Mr. Watson Duke, and his deputy, Mr. Farley Augustine, requesting better fiscal oversight and tighter controls over financial reporting, the motion was passed in the House. My name is Devon Adana. You've been watching This Day in Tobago History. Back to you in studio.
Thank you very much, dear Devon Adana, for This Day in History. Folks, as we get into that final segment this morning, Rhea, I want to take the opportunity to send out some condolences, particularly to Miss Joyce Moore Boris, as well as Giselle Boris Vincent, in terms of the passing of her husband and, Giselle's dad, that would have taken place. So, we really want to send out condolences to the entire family, in terms of really, this is a tough time indeed, yes. And our prayers continue to be with you this morning and beyond, especially in these challenging times.
Definitely condolences going out to the Boris family. So Julian, I know there was a topic of discussion that we hoped to have had the chance or the opportunity to be on the program this morning with regards to the letter from the EBC, but that is certainly something that we will have on the table for tomorrow, yes?
Certainly, and just to let people know, it's the use of technology at the polling stations for the upcoming THA elections, and the intent to use some of our polling stations as a pilot project. We'll chat about that more tomorrow.
Definitely. So have a great day, Tobago. We thank you so much for joining us. And, just to let you know that Tobago Updates is all Tobago Updates. It has no affiliation with any other entity. It is all Tobago Updates. So we encourage you to have a great day, stay safe on the roads, and remember to wear your mask, sanitize, and to socially distance.
Bye-bye. And I got my brains, and I'm pretty like my mama. I don't wanna pick your brains, I just want the microphone. Take the mask off your face and look at me.